Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Burn, Nick, and today we are going to be talking about how you can save money on cigars while still supporting a brick-and-mortar shop. But first, let's go ahead and get the cigar going. So today I am going to be smoking one of my personal favorites. I smoke this thing. It's in my go-to regular rotation, and I really dig it. It's the Romeo y Julieta Reserva Real Nicaragua. This is the 6x54 Toro, and it is a Nicaraguan Puro, and I dig the hell out of this cigar. It's one of those ones that it gives me a nice burst of spice. It's got some cedar notes to it, some creamy notes to it, and I really dig this cigar, and it's one that I've gotten so many of them under my belt that at this point I know what I'm getting from it. So it's a good cigar for just everyday smoking. And given the fact that this is obviously a solo episode, I kind of figured let's do something that I know what it is, and that you know, I can smoke, but realistically, let's be real. You know, on these solo episodes, the cigar goes out frequently because I'm talking, you know, and so let's do something that I know what it is. So anyway, that's what we're smoking, and so let's go ahead and prep to cut the cigar. And the official cutting is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's another number 2guyscigars.com. 2 Guys has been around for about 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows 2 Guys. Everybody trusts 2 Guys. But if you don't, please give them a try. You will not be sorry. I guarantee it. Family owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide a great selection of cigars, fair prices, and awesome customer service. I don't know what more you could possibly want from a cigar website, but, you know, you get it at 2guyscigars.com. So please go to 2guyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase and tell them that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. And with that, it's time to go ahead and cut the cigar. So, let's go ahead and get this guy cut. And actually, it was 2guyscigars.com that prompted the point of this episode. So, I recently, this weekend in fact, got a shipment from 2 Guys. I got it on Saturday. And, do a cold draw here. Nice. It's got a little bit of barnyard, and it's like a creamy barnyard is the best way for me to put it. So I put in an order. Well, okay, let me back up. I am a member of the Cigar Authority. Whoop, whoop, as I catch my hoodie on fire. Cigar Authority Show Pack, right? So every month on on the 20th, Ed Santa Maria runs my debit card on file for my Cigar Authority Show Pack. And most months it actually goes through. Haha, sorry, Ed. Anyway, so I get that. And in April, I had missed. He'd already swiped for April, okay? But I had wanted to put in an order at 2 Guys, and so I called up there and I placed my order, but I included it on my May purchase, my May show pack, because with the show pack, if you add on a purchase throughout the month and you include it with the show pack, you get free shipping. And so rather than pay the shipping on the box of, I bought a box of Garofalo Family Reserve sun-grown Toros and a few lighters. I figured rather than pay shipping on that, just, hang on to it until May and include it with my May show pack. Well, I'd forgotten about it. And so when the show pack arrived on Saturday, it was not in its normal little mailer box. It was in a little bit bigger of a box. And I'm like, what the hell? And so I open it up, and sure enough, there's my box of cigars, and there's my lighters. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'd forgotten about this. So this was an example of past Nick taking care of present Nick. And I was very happy. Like, past Nick had my back. But it got me thinking about ways that you can save money on cigars while still supporting a brick and mortar shop. Now, I know I'm talking about twoguyscigars.com. It is a website, but it's a website that's owned, operated, and, is run by a brick and mortar shop. It's not exclusively just a website. And so today, I don't want to talk about, the exclusive online guys. I want to talk about how you can save money at a cigar shop, but still, do so by supporting a brick and mortar. So, let's get into that. It's Romeo Julieta, smoking like a champ right off the bat here. Love it. It's a nice little smokestack. So the first thing I want to talk about is exactly that. I want to talk about programs. And so in this case, Two Guys, they offer a deal where if you are a member of the Cigar Authority Show Pack, you can get free shipping on your purchases throughout the month if you include them with the show pack. It's a simple thing. You're saving the shipping, but guys, shipping costs adds up. And it's not just from cigar companies. It's just from everybody. Let's be real. We're all like, oh, Amazon, free shipping. It's not free shipping because you're probably Prime, and you're probably paying $200 annually for that. So, you're paying all your shipping up front. And if you don't really buy much from Amazon, but you're a member of Prime, guess what? You're giving them money and not utilizing the program to its fullest extent. So, it's one of those things where, you got to pay attention to that kind of thing. In this case, this is free shipping if you include it with the show pack. But they also offer free shipping if you buy over, I think, $150 worth of product, which, if you're buying a box, which I'll get to that in a minute, you're saving money on the shipping there. But there's other programs that I'm sure, you can take part in at your various shops, and I'll get to that in a second too. Well, you know what? I'll get to it right now. So the next thing on my list is reward programs. Lots of shops offer different reward programs. I know that one shop here in the St. Louis area used to be a member of, there's a reward thing called Clover, where if you, bring up the Clover app and whatnot, and they scan it, then you'll be able to rack up points. And after so long, there were coupons. So, you racked up Clover points, and then after, I think, 5,000 points or something like that, you got 5% off a box. And, if you are off a purchase and, 10,000 points, maybe it was 10% off a purchase. I don't know, however many points it was. But it's that kind of a concept. It's a general reward program. You see that at a lot of retail shops these days. And if your shop offers that and you're not a member of it, why not? It typically they don't cost you anything. I can't imagine one that actually does. So, in this case, be rewarded for being a frequent customer at that shop. Sign up for the reward program and, start earning points. The purchase that I told you that I made from Two Guys, that was with reward points. Dave had a program for reward points, and I found out that it was changing, and so I needed to use my points by the end of April, and so I put in my order. Well, that order, because of the amount of points I had saved up, I was able to get a box of cigars for $60, and the 3 lighters I got were free. So, I saved, did I save half on that box of cigars? Or maybe I got it for, I don't know. I don't remember what the exact deal was, but I know I saved a good amount of money. That's why I did it, because it was one of those things where I knew those points were going to go away. I needed to go ahead and use it, and this was a good opportunity for me to use it and get a lot of cigars. In this case, a box of, I think, like 20 or 25. I can't remember. I think 20 for $60. I mean, that makes those cigars. I'm smoking Garofalo Family Reserve sun-grown Toros for $3 a stick. You know, I mean, you're not going to find any cigar that compares to that cigar for $3 a piece. Okay. So, you know, it just makes no sense in the world not to go ahead, spend the $60, get the box of cigars, and then you've got them, you know? So reward programs. If you're not a member of your shop's reward program, sign up for it. And if you're a retailer and you don't offer a reward program, think about it. It's one of those things. It encourages your customers to spend more money in your shop. And at the same time, it really doesn't cost you much in the way of product. I mean, you don't have to do it to where, you know, you're giving away a product. Like with Dave, you know, when I got the menu, quote unquote, of what I could use my points on, there really wasn't a thing there where it was like, oh, you have 750 points. Well, here's a free box of whatever. It was a percentage off, or and in this case, a good percentage off. But it was a percentage off. I still spent money, you know, in order to use those points. But when I did, I saved money, but I still spent money, you know. And it was such a good deal that it was hard to pass up spending that money in order to get that deal, you know. So just you consider the reward programs. If you're a retailer, there's a way to do it to where you're still making something off the product. You're not just giving away products with reward points. So, you know, you've got that. Then the next thing that I want to emphasize, and I just talked about it a little bit too, buy by the box. I know that's not an easy thing for all of us to do. Times are tough. The economy is rough. You know, groceries cost way more than they should. Gas is out of this world expensive again. I mean, it's not $5 a gallon, or at least not around here, but it is nearly $4 a gallon around here, and that's not cheap. You know, everything is expensive, and I get that I'm telling you to go out and drop, you know, anywhere between 120 to on up on a box of cigars, depending upon what you smoke. You know, maybe for me, what I smoke and enjoy, you know, if I were buying by the box, I was probably looking anywhere around $200 to $300 to buy by the box if I do that. The only thing that I will say is that if you have the means to do so, buying by the box is a better way of getting a cheaper per stick price, because most shops will offer at least a 10% box discount. You know, you're gonna wanna ask and find out, you know, from your brick and mortar if they offer a box discount, but most of them do. And so if you're getting a 10% box discount, depending upon your area's sales tax and things of that nature, you know, you might look at it and say, oh, I'm saving the tax. But the other thing to consider is, you know, when you're looking at it, let's say a box has 20 sticks in it, and let's say that they charge $200 for the box. You know, that's $5 a stick. But the per stick price, if you're buying it like by the actual cigar and not by the box, maybe they're charging $6.50 for a stick on the shelf. Well, you know, $6.50 times 20, you know, you're definitely spending more. I mean, in this case, it's $1.50 times 20. I mean, that's $30 extra that you're spending. I could have done that math in my head and I didn't. You could have saved $30 by buying the box instead of buying, you know, a box worth of individual singles. And so that's something to consider, is if you really like a cigar, if you have one that's in your rotation, it's a go-to stick for you, and you know you're going to smoke the hell out of it and you want it on the regular, consider buying by the box. You can typically get a good discount doing that. Now, circling back to other programs for a moment, buying by the box prompted me to remember. There's a shop in St. Louis. It's actually a liquor store that has a rather nice humidor in it. They don't have a lounge or anything like that, but you can go there and you can buy cigars. It's called Captain Z's. They offer a deal. It's if you buy 15 cigars, you get 15% off. 15 or more cigars, I should say. 15% off. And so what you can do there is, let's say you want to get, I don't know, $10 cigars. And you're like, oh, crap, I'm 5 away from the 15. I need to get the 15 so I can get the 15% off. Well, get some of the budget bundle cigars. They do sell some individual, budget cigars. A lot of shops don't like to break open the budget bundle, cigars, because they don't want somebody coming in, sitting in the lounge for an hour and a half and smoking a, $4 quorum. And I understand that. Lounge space costs money, and they don't want to encourage, they don't want to encourage somebody to sit there and just be a cheap date. And I get that. But in this case, they don't have a lounge, and so they do break open the budget bundles. They sell them by the bundle, but they also have trays where you can buy individual quorums or whatever kind of, more affordable cigar that they have available. And so what you can do is buy maybe $10 cigars. You can buy 5, $4 cigars. So now you're spending $120, but you're hitting the 15, so you're getting 15% off. So you're saving some money. With them also, that applies to boxes. So if you're buying a box, it's a 15% discount instead of a 10% discount. And so it's that sort of thing. You gotta see what your shop offers in terms of deals, and you gotta figure out, kind of how to make those deals work for you in the best possible way. But the next thing I want to emphasize in terms of how to save some money while still supporting your brick and mortar shop. Attend in-store events. In-store events with either cigar reps or cigar manufacturers are great ways to get some product and save some money. And what I mean by that is they typically are doing deals where if you buy a box, maybe you get like a 4-pack sampler or something in addition to the box of cigars. Maybe they're doing the typical buy 3, get 1 free, buy 10, get, 3 free, buy a box, get, 6 free or something like that. I mean, some of these places they do a variety of different deals. And the bottom line is typically there's some sort of a free thing that comes with purchase. And so if you go in there and you buy as your budget allows, you can typically get some free product to go with it. I've taken advantage of that a couple of different times. It's obviously it's hard to have your budget line up with every in-store event that comes along, but when it happens, it's nice to where you can go in, you can buy a box, and you get maybe, like I said, a 4-pack sampler, maybe 6 cigars, whatever it happens to be for free. And look, it's not like buy 1 box, get 1 free. No, but that's something free is better than nothing in this case. I mean, that's the point is we're talking about how to drive your dollar cost average down. And in this case, getting 4 to 6 cigars free with the purchase of a box, depending upon, the deal and whatever else. Hey, it's something, it's definitely something. And while I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of the buy 3, get 1 free, I think it's kind of a boring event. Look, as a consumer, it's a great event, It's a great way, if you're paying attention and it's a brand that you like and a brand that you enjoy, then use it as an opportunity to stock up because you're getting free stuff. You're getting free cigars. And you don't get free cigars often. So, yes, watch for in-store events and attend them. The other thing is, and you should be attending in-store events anyway, because if a store holds an in-store event and nobody shows up, they're not going to want to hold another in-store event. And maybe it's one of those things where you're like, oh, they're holding an in-store event for this brand, and I don't really care for that brand. I want an in-store event for that brand. Well, if nobody goes to that in-store event for the first brand, there's probably not going to be an in-store event for the second brand because the shop's not going to want to take on the expense, because there is an expense that goes along with those, to do another event. So, I learned this very early on from a customer over at the Hill. And we were at an event for, I'll just say it, Southern Draw. And I was talking to him out on the, it was Hal. His name was Hal. And Hal and I were talking, and, I met him that night, and he told me, he's like, look, he's like, I don't really know this brand. I don't really, I'm going to try them and that sort of thing. He's like, I don't really know anything about them. He's like, but I always come to the in-store events. I'm like, why is that? And he said, because if you don't come to one, you're not guaranteeing that there's going to be another. You got to support them when they happen so that you can have more of them down the road. And I thought about that a lot, and it makes perfect sense. You gotta go out and support the in-store events when they happen to prompt the store owner to want to do future ones. So you should be going anyway. But if you go, you're going to benefit. You're going to benefit. There's no way you're not going to benefit unless you go in there and buy one cigar. If you just pay attention to the deal and you come prepared to buy 3 to 5 cigars, you're going to get, 1 or 2 free sticks, depending on whatever the deal is. So pay attention to the deals at the in-store events. The next thing I'll say is watch your store for sales. They don't happen often in the cigar industry, it seems. They do at times, though. Like, for example, Two Guys Cigars up in New Hampshire. They have their March Madness sale. And, it's an opportunity for Two Guys to, maybe clear out some product that's slow moving, or sizes that are slow moving or something like that. But guys, it's fantastic deals on cigars, and it's taking place one day only. You get in there, you stock up, and Jonathan and Dave, they've been on the show, they've talked about it before, how guys will go in there and they will just buy a ton and stock up their humidor, with a huge selection of cigars at good, deep discounted prices. And they are not the only ones doing that. There have to be other stores. Maybe they're not calling it March Madness. Maybe they're not even doing it in that regard. Maybe they're doing the discount bins. There's one shop here in St. Louis that I know that has a $5 discount bin. I don't necessarily say that that's a great thing for every shop, but it is, it seems to work for them. They've had it for as long as I've known. So look, go in, and if you want to get some discounts on some cigars, buy your regular cigars, but it doesn't hurt to grab 1 or 2 out of the $5 bin as well as you're heading out the door. It keeps lowering that dollar cost average. You gotta keep that in mind. So watch for random sales. Watch for any sort of specials that your cigar shop's going to promote, whatever sales are coming up, whatever specials are coming up. they're going to promote events. Like I'm saying, events typically equal deals. So, watch for that stuff, and you can stay informed about how you can save some money. And the last thing that I would say that you as a consumer can do to save money on your cigars and still promote and support a brick and mortar shop is sign up for email newsletters. If your cigar shop is offering an email newsletter and they're actually doing it, sign up for it. It doesn't hurt. I mean, I get email newsletters from at least 2 to 3 different, cigar shops. And look, typically they don't blast you with information. I mean, there are 2 that I hear from regularly that they have big online presences. One of them is 2 guys. The other is Cigars Daily. But they're promoting their online presence, which, hey, you know what? It makes a lot of sense for them to do that because it's good promotion. It's pushing you to the website, and it's reminding you that it's there. It's reminding you that it's an option that you can purchase online from them and still save a little bit and still support a brick and mortar shop. But the thing about it is that the average brick and mortar shop, maybe the one that doesn't have a big online presence, the average brick and mortar shop, if they are utilizing email newsletters, they're using it to promote in-store events, in-store sales, reward programs, things of that nature. Those are all things that you as the consumer, if you're visiting your cigar shop regularly, should want to know about. And so make sure you sign up for email newsletters. Now, look, you may follow them on social media, and that's great. Social media can be a very helpful way to stay on top of what's going on your cigar, in your cigar shop. However, social media can sometimes delay when you see a post. How many times have you gone on Facebook and you're scrolling and you see an event and you're like, oh, that looks like fun, and it was yesterday, or something like that? Or how many times have you gone on and you're scrolling and you finally see a posting about an event and it's literally that night and you have plans because you didn't know about it? So if you would stay on top of it with the email newsletter, you can plan ahead, you can get it done and ready, and you can stay abreast of the situation. The thing about email as well is it's gold. Email is gold because when you provide your email address to somebody, the odds are you are not changing that email address. Most people I know, they have set up their email address and they've got the same email address they've had for 20 or 30 years. I mean, my personal Gmail account that I have, I think I started that thing, oh my God, early 2000s. I mean, it might be 20 years I've had that email address now. And it's just one of those things where people don't tend to switch email addresses. They might move on, if you're a retailer and you get provided somebody's work email address. Yeah, when they leave that job, they may lose that email. But, if they're giving you their personal one, you're probably going to have that for a long time. And as long as they don't unsubscribe, you can still promote to them. The thing is, I would say don't abuse the email systems if you're a retailer. Don't be blasting out an email every single day if you don't have anything of importance to say. Keep your emails relevant, topical, and like I said, don't spam people. But otherwise, I think your consumers will appreciate the heads up about sales and events and things of that nature. And as a consumer, you should want to be on the program so you can get that information quickly. So make sure you sign up for email newsletters if your cigar shop offers them. Otherwise, I would say just, I mean, look, there are those consumers that, because they don't live near a brick and mortar shop, they have to buy online. The only thing I would say there is do your research, do your due diligence, find an online place that you can purchase cigars from that is run by and associated with a brick and mortar. And, obviously, my new cut sponsor, twoguyscigars.com. Dude, it's 3 brick and mortar locations. They have a warehouse that they ship everything out of. I mean, this is a legitimate brick and mortar operation that just also had. Oh, that air conditioner finally went off. Thank God. This is a legitimate brick and mortar operation that has a very good, vibrant online presence. So take advantage of it. You can get deals, you can get discounts, you can get the box discounts that way. And like I said, they have the shipping discounts if you spend over a certain dollar amount. And let's be real, if you're going to be placing an order, you're probably going to make it worth it for yourself to go ahead and hit that threshold to save that shipping. So just consider putting your dollars behind an online presence that also is a brick and mortar operation. You don't need to run to the online guys that are only online and that ultimately I don't know, whatever. We won't get into that whole discussion. But anyway, that's my ideas. If you have any suggestions aside from those as to how you can save money and still support a brick and mortar shop, feel free to hit me up on the socials and say, hey, you forgot about XYZ, and I'll be sure to share them, because the thing is that this is all good information. We're all in it together. We all are in it together. We all got to keep our dollar cost average down. We all got to be able to afford our hobby, and it is a luxury. And so right now, when times are tight and budgets are tight, you got to be able to figure out ways to stretch that dollar and get a little bit more for it. And so, finding ways to save some money while at the same time supporting your brick and mortar shop, that's the best way of doing it. The last thing in the world you want to do is get into a situation where you're saving money, but you're throwing it at some, online giant that it doesn't care, That's all. But anyway, I am enjoying this Romeo and Julieta. I had to relight it once. I'm on the verge of having to maybe relight it again. But I think I've got it. You can kind of tell. I saw a post on Instagram very recently that talked about how if the cigar is like coning, if the filler tobacco is coning, that, it's the best way because it's been bunched properly and all that. That goes 100% against everything I've ever been told. I've always been told that if you have like the spear, if you've got like a coning effect of your filler tobacco, it means you're smoking it too fast. Whereas on the flip side, I don't know if you can see, if your cigar is kind of concave inside like that, it means you're smoking too slow. And the filler tobacco, the moth is buzzing right by. The filler tobacco is burning quicker than the outside tobacco or the wrapper because you're smoking too slow. So obviously I'm smoking too slow because I'm talking. What? Let's go ahead and do this. It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report, brought to you by
Villiger.
Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarillo manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family-owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. So, I have spent this weekend, obviously, with my son. We had a fun time celebrating his 8th birthday, and God, guys, time flies. I don't remotely know where those 8 years went. Yeah, it goes by so quick. But Anyway, I'm gonna get lost in thought there. But we had a fun time. We didn't really watch a whole lot. We watched, obviously we had our Thomas time and a little bit of story bots, but not a whole lot. In terms of what I've been watching since the last time I recorded, it's really been pretty light. I did watch. There's a behind the scenes making of X-Men '97 that was on Disney Plus. I did watch that. And then, God, now the train's going by, I swear. I didn't know how loud it was out here at night like this. I'm recording very late on Monday, by the way. So you guys are going to be getting this nice and fresh Tuesday morning. But I did watch a little bit of that. There was some mystery on PBS that I'd watched. I don't know. It's one of those British mysteries. But I did go by the bookstore, and I took a look around the bookstore because I'm one of those guys that I will go to the bookstore and I will find things that look interesting, and I will buy them. And then when I get home, they immediately go on the stack of to be read, and that stack is ever growing. One of these days, I'm going to stop going to the bookstore and I'm going to start actually reading what I bought. But I went to the bookstore and I found a mystery that I thought looked fun. Now, when I read books, I think I've mentioned this on the show before, I like to bounce back and forth between fiction and nonfiction. Kind of give my brain a little bit of factual information with the nonfiction, and then swing around, give it a little bit of entertainment with the fiction, and then go back and forth. And I'm not one that I have multiple books going at a specific time, because realistically, it's hard enough for me to get through one book rather than multiple at the same time. I need to carve more time out for that, but I don't. But I did find a mystery. It's called it's the next book in a series. I actually have read the first one, and it's the second book in the series. There's 3 out right now. It's called the Thursday Murder Club, I think is the name of it. Thursday Murder Club. And it's about these old people that live in an old folks home, and they fashioned themselves as detectives, and so they had the Thursday Murder Club. They would get together and they would solve a murder mystery. And then lo and behold, somebody at the old folks home was killed. And so these people have to, these residents of the old folks home have to solve this murder. And it's entertaining. It's kind of a cross between maybe like Golden Girls and Agatha Christie to a degree. It's fun. It's kind of at times a little sad because it does give an accurate, I think, I don't know. I'm not in an old folks home, so maybe I don't know. Maybe it's not as accurate as I think, but it gives kind of what I perceive as an accurate view of life in an old folks home, in that, one lady, her husband is in like the dementia ward, and she like goes and checks in on him, and that's obviously sad and things of that nature. And so, it's got its moments, but they're good books. And so I liked the first one, and so I picked up the second one. I also perused the magazines, and I bought the newest, whatever was on the shelf, issue of Cigar Journal. It's one I didn't have, and I like a good magazine still. People, we're so entrenched in our digital platforms and our iPads and things of that nature, but man, I like the tactile feel of a good magazine. Speaking of magazines, I did get the newest issue of Cigar Aficionado, or as this one should be called, the travel brochure for the island of Cuba. I swear, man, it's like every couple years it feels like they really hype up Cuba, and everything, and it does kind of make you wonder if that's the back door, if maybe they can't advertise the cigars, the Cuban cigars, but maybe the tourism bureau for the country of Cuba is spending money in terms of like, we're going to buy X amount of articles and blah, 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 and all that, and throw us a bone and give us a number one every, 5 years or something like that. I don't know. I'm just saying. I do find it rather interesting that you have an American-based magazine that is so highly promoting a communist nation 90 miles south of Florida. But that's neither here nor there. What else have I been listening to and entertained by and that sort of thing? I saw that the drive-in theater by me not only won USA Today's number one drive-in in the nation. Apparently there are less than 300 drive-in theaters left in the United States. And Skyview Drive-In in Belleville, Illinois, which is about maybe 15 minutes from my house, was voted the number one drive-in in the nation. And I'll tell you, I started going back to the drive-in last year just on a whim, and I love it. You get 2 movies for $13 a head or per adult. So if I go on a Friday night by myself, $13 gets me a double feature. I've got a little radio, that I've got that they give you the paper with the radio frequencies for the 2 screens, and so you can, if you park back far enough, you can view both screens at the same time, and you can bounce back and forth between the frequencies and check the different movies if you want. That way too, if let's say screen 1 has a movie first that I care about, but screen 2, their second movie is one I want to watch, I can just stay in the same parking spot. I don't even have to move, and I can just flip between the frequencies, and I'm set. Theoretically, I could listen on my car radio, but then I'd have to get a jump, and I don't really want to do that, so that's why I bring the other radio. It works out for me, but I love the drive-in. The drive-in has been a fun little nostalgic thing that I've picked up the last year, and I've been enjoying that. So I haven't gone in a little while yet this year. There hasn't been anything yet that's kind of like struck my fancy, but I keep watching because obviously some movies this summer are going to come out that I'm going to want to see. And then also this is their 75th anniversary year at that specific drive-in, so they're doing all kinds of like special deals. Like I think this weekend they were running Gone with the Wind on one of the screens, which I'm not particularly into going to see Gone with the Wind, but on the flip side, I think it's cool that they're showing old movies as well as contemporary movies. So, maybe something's going to come along there that I'm going to want to see. So, anyway, that is what I've been watching lately.
Guess what, motherfucker?
It's time for 3 cigars I smoked and enjoyed this week. Let me bring up my note here so that I can properly get that ready here. And I need to actually update it with what I've had tonight. Let me put that on there real quick. I have been keeping track of what I have been smoking all year long, and maybe that'll be a fun episode here. Maybe what I can do is maybe at the end of June, when I hit the 6-month mark, I can get all this entered into a nice little spreadsheet and do that, and kind of see what's what. Anyway, let me go ahead and get to this. So my first one that I smoked and enjoyed this week, it's funny. I was just talking about Southern Draw earlier. On Wednesday, coming back from my printer, I fired up a Southern Draw Firethorn that I found in one of my humidors. And I've been doing a lot of humidor clean out. So I've been finding some stuff that I'm like, oh my gosh, where did that come from? This was one I didn't know I had. I smoked it, and man, it smoked like a chimney, and I loved it so much. I had such a great experience with that cigar. It was flavorful. It smoked well. Construction was great. Southern Draw Firethorn. I smoked that on my way home from the printer on Wednesday. Additionally, I smoked a Monte Cristo 135th Anniversary Toro by the fire recently. I lit up my fire pit, sat outside, enjoyed the nice evening with the stars and the bullfrogs, which you might be able to hear them in the background a little bit. I had a nice, wonderful time with the fire pit, and I had a Monte Cristo 135th Anniversary Toro. Fantastic cigar. From there, I will say that on Saturday, when I got my box of cigars, my son, he crashed out really, really early on Saturday. He had a nice big day full of baseball and birthday activities and all kinds of stuff going on. And so he crashed out early enough. I was able to sneak outside while he was asleep and get in a quick cigar. And I fired up one of the Garofalo Family Reserve sun-grown Toros. And that is not to be confused with the La Familia. They're two different lines. The La Familia, the sun-grown, has that big orange band. This one has... Sorry, I got to get my cigar going again. I like a black and white band to it. Still, a fantastic smoke. I really enjoyed it, especially for $3 a stick. I really, really enjoyed it. And I have since had another two from that box aside from that one. So I've already smoked 3 of those damn things. And I only got the box on Saturday. So, yeah, it's a mighty fine cigar at normal price, and it's a definitely mighty fine cigar at $3 a box, or $3 a stick. So cannot beat that deal. Anyway, now let's talk coffee. So this weekend I got up early because my son is an early riser, and he wakes me up every day. Oh, I'd say by 6:30. On average, 6:30. This weekend, Saturday, was about 6:15. Sunday, he tried waking me up at 10 minutes to 4, and I told him go back to bed. And it was finally 6:45 that he finally rose and was up, But I wasn't having that 10 minutes to 4 bullshit. But anyway, 6:45, woke up. So needless to say, both days way earlier than I normally get up. And so I definitely had to fire up the coffee pot and make some fucking good coffee. I needed that little pick-me-up in the morning. And I had some of the, is it like whiskey barrel aged, or whiskey barrel, or whiskey, I think it's the whiskey barrel aged blend in the kitchen. And boy, that helped out a lot. That got me going in the morning. But guys, they have a fucking good coffee. You go to their website, fuckinggoodcoffee.com. Nick over there, he's got a nice, good selection of coffees. You're going to want to try them. They all pair well with cigars, but that lounge blend really is designed to pair well with cigars, and it will pair with really any cigar, help bring out the flavor notes in the cigar and that sort of thing. So, if you're a cigar person and you are looking for a beverage to complement your cigars, coffee is a very natural and good pairing with your cigars. So give it a try. And if you're not a coffee person, I'm not much of one. I admit I don't drink it on the daily, but when I do, I want to make sure that I'm getting something good. So make sure you give fucking good coffee a try. You might find one that you like. I mean, he has blends that go all the way from mild all the way up to the strong stuff. So, if you're fresh into coffee and you're not looking for something that's going to light your hair on fire in the morning, I'm sure he's got a nice mild blend that you can mix with some creamer or something like that, and you can have a wonderful, wonderful experience. It's nice having that warm cup of coffee in the morning, something nice and hot to kind of get you moving. And so make sure you head on over to fuckinggoodcoffee.com. He's got all kinds of blends. Give him a try. Don't be a fucker. Drink fucking good coffee. And, and it pairs really well with cigars, especially cigars in the My Monthly Cigars box, also run by Nick. So you can go over to mymonthlycigars.com and you can check in on that. And he's got fucking good coffee there too. So you can get some coffee and everything else that you need. So anyway, in terms of the socials, I'm available on Instagram at The Cigar Pulpit. I'm available on Facebook, where we have the Pulpit Parishioners group. That's always fun. There's Twitter/X where I'm on there, YouTube where you can watch this, and I think that's about it. I think that's it for my socials. But going back to what I was talking about earlier, following your or keeping up with what's going on at your cigar shop. I said the socials are not perfect. They're not perfect. But follow your local cigar shop on the socials. Find out if they have social media, and if they do, follow them. Because is it going to be perfect? No, it's not going to be perfect. Email newsletters. If you're a retailer and you're not doing it, do it. And if you're a consumer and you're not signed up for their email newsletter, sign up. But follow them on the socials too, because look, for these retailers, they've got enough going on in their day-to-day that maybe it's too much for them to be doing an email newsletter to promote stuff. And maybe all they can do to keep up is throw up a post on Facebook. Follow them anyway. That way, at least you're maybe getting some of the information. But yeah, it comes down to hours in the day. Well, that's why I haven't done one yet. I mean, I keep threatening to do an email newsletter. I was going to do one starting at the beginning of this year, and this year has rapidly devolved into all sorts of different chaos to where, yeah, I don't have time to be doing an email newsletter every week either. I'm looking at houses like on the regular. I mean, I looked at 3 yesterday, and I'm looking at another one tomorrow morning. By the time you guys are all going to work and everything like that, I'm going to be heading to a house to look at it. It's just one of those things that there's a lot going on in my life right now. Enough that I've actually toyed with the concept of trying to take this down to one a week in terms of taking something off my plate until I get that under control. I may have to do that once I find a house and I'm in the process of actually moving and getting a house set up. But for right now, I feel like I still have the ability to do this. Today kind of got away from me. And also, this was always going to have to be a solo show. Unless I had this done in advance, this was always going to have to be a solo show because it's, Memorial Day. People are busy. They've got plans. And, I get that. So, it's okay. I think we managed. I think we pulled this off well. But, and speaking of Memorial Day, before I sign off, I saw some people posting about the purpose of Memorial Day, and then I also saw people and actually had people wish me a happy Memorial Day. Memorial Day is not a day to, wish people a happy Memorial Day. It's not, Merry Christmas or Happy Thanksgiving or anything like that. Memorial Day is a day that we all that are citizens of the United States should take a moment to thank and honor, remember, and celebrate the lives of the brave men and women of our armed forces that made the ultimate sacrifice for us and our freedoms. This is not Veterans Day. That's another thing. People get confused about the various days. This is the day to remember the fallen and to honor their sacrifice that they made for us. Veterans Day is in November, and that's a day where you're celebrating everybody, living and past, that has worn the uniform. But today is the day to remember those that we lost. And so, anyway, for those of you who have family members that we lost in the armed forces, thank you for your sacrifice, because you lost a loved one, and I don't know if the families get as much recognition as they should, but it's not easy to be that family member that supports and has to deal with the ramifications of decisions, such as having your loved one decide to join the military and then pass away. But anyway, that it's neither here nor there. But the point is, I hope you all had a very safe and good Memorial Day. And I hope that during your festivities, your cookouts and various things like that, you take a moment to, or I hope you took a moment to remember the reason that you have the freedom to do that, because it's not just a normal 3-day weekend. It's not your average Monday holiday. It's a very important one, and we should remember that. So anyway, final thoughts on the Romeo y Julieta Reserva Real that I am maybe a third of the way through, that I think is probably gone out again. I really dig this cigar a lot. Again, I picked it out for this episode because it's one that I smoke on the regular. I knew what I was getting, and I dig it. It does have the nice spice notes. It has some nice cedar notes, some creamy notes to it. It's a good cigar. I really do enjoy it. It's one of my regulars, one of my go-tos, and I dig it. I like it a whole. I like it a whole lot better than the Red Band one, but the Red Band one is not for me. The Red Band one is for it's definitely a more mild smoke. This one is definitely a heartier, I'd say medium to medium full, kind of cigar. But that's all right. It hits my wheelhouse a little bit more than the Red Band one. But anyway, enough about that, guys. Thank you so much for taking time out today. I really do appreciate it. I'm planning out some things. Hopefully, should have some guests coming up soon that will be joining me, and we'll have some fun. So anyway, this has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick. Everybody, stay safe, stay smoky. Thanks, guys.